Users of the AIS Service Catalog can easily provision resources once they have been approved by the enterprise. Here is an example product catalog screen that an end user would see. Some of these resources are generic, like Azure Web App. Other products are more specific, like Enterprise App ABC, which might consist of a web app, a database, and corresponding application code to be deployed from a development team. We can click any of these to see a user-friendly display of the product details. And we can see that this has an app service plan, hosting plan, a web app, and I can expand and collapse any of those resources. I could select a more complicated example than the first one I showed, and you can see it has different parameters. I can get more details over the parameters here. I can expand and collapse any one of these resources. You can see this has numerous resources. Because this is just ARM behind the scenes, I can show the details of just that one in the ARM template for only that resource. Let's go ahead and actually provision a product now. I'm going to select this basic Azure Web App example and say provision now. The first thing I'm going to do is select a subscription, and I'm only going to get the choice of subscriptions that I've been granted access to via the security policies. So I'll pick Dev subscription. I could potentially select existing resource groups in the dropdown, or I can add a new resource group, and we'll just call it AIS App Demo RG. We can have the location for the resource group. I'll just say East US, and we can also give security group constraints to that resource group. I'll just give it Dev Team 1. Now I'm just going to come in here and give a name to my web app. Let's call it Esmicalati Test 1, give it a hosting plan name, and click deploy. Now we can see that deployment is running right now. Our provisioning is running. While that's working, I'm going to go back and select Enterprise App ABC and say provision now for this one. And we will also go ahead and select the same subscription, that Dev subscription right here. And I'm just going to select that existing resource group we were already using. And I'm also going to put in Esmicalati. This we'll call Ent App for Enterprise Application. Now, before I click deploy here, I can see that this first deployment has succeeded. And if I go over here to resource groups, we had no resource group, but if I refresh, I now see the resource group that we didn't previously have. And we see there's the Esmicalati Test 1 website that was just provisioned. And I can click this URL. And this gives me the typical blue screen for a blank Azure Web App. So let's now go ahead and click the deploy for the second deployment operation. We can see that deployment is now succeeded. So let's go back here and look at our resource groups. And now we can see we have the second web app that's been deployed. Let's click on this one. And we can see this time we don't get the generic blue screen for a blank web app. We have actual application code that has been deployed to this website. So that was just a quick and easy example of how that works in the AIS Service Catalog. We can get any details about deployments. If a deployment succeeded or if a deployment, something went wrong with the deployment, we can come in here and get additional information about anything that happened during that deployment. Overall, very easy end user experience.